Welcome to Providence PPM. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video today. Today's video is just going to cover some of the very basic information about the system, the initial login, some system navigation, setting up the initial configuration information in the system admin page, as well as some initial user setup information. So nothing too heavy, deep, and real today, but just some basic best practices for initially setting up the system for new users and specifically new admins. So we're going to start here just at the login page. As you can see, you can log in either with a username and password or with single sign-on. If you don't have an account yet, you can click this button and it will have you create an account. And once you do log in with that username and password, it will guide you through the initial setup as far as getting a free trial or a subscription. But since we're just going to go through and assume that you created one today, and I've got SSO set up on my account, so I'm going to use that. So we'll go ahead and sign in with Microsoft. All right, well, when you log in, the first thing you're going to see is the project list page for whatever business unit you are currently assigned to as your primary. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on and in other videos. But this is just the initial landing page that you'll see when you log in. Over on the left-hand side, you'll see the navigation tree. It's pretty typical with most websites. Just a couple of things to point out. So the sidebar is collapsible. I know that most people do enjoy seeing the full screen depending on what they're doing. It's just kind of helpful. You can still see icons for whatever you'd like to navigate to. But you can also collapse each section of the navigation bar just to kind of help clean things up, just for ease of navigation. Today we're going to be focusing, like I said, primarily on the initial configuration, mainly in the system and users page. So we're going to go ahead and navigate there now. So when you first get to this page, you'll see as an admin how many standard licenses you have purchased as well as premium licenses. This is obviously my admin account and the demo account, so it just shows a ridiculous number, but yours will show how many you have actually purchased and assigned. So just a few things to point out here. So you do have links to your billing page as well as your Entra ID settings and Entra ID sync. We'll cover more of the Entra ID integration in a separate video. Today, as I said, is just kind of standard user setup, for manual user creation and some of these other things. So we'll cover that in another video. So the first thing you'll see here is you'll see the business units that have been created. So premium users can create as many business units as they would like. Standard users are limited to a single business unit, but business units are really what allows the business to scale. So this is what allows you to segregate your strategic objectives and portfolios for different types of business units. So many companies may have a division that does one thing and another division that does another thing, and they may have completely different goals and objectives. So the whole point of that really is just so that you can create that scalability with your business for any size business. You've got the departments and roles that have been set up in the system. This is mainly for rolling up analytics based on departments and roles in the analytics page. So we'll take a look at that a little bit later. You've got your list of users in the system by department, so you can blow these out and see, exactly who's been created in each department. You can search for users by name or department or role, so it makes it very easy to find anybody that you might want to find in the system. You've also got planning resources. So these are for vendors or non-users or just any other resources that you may want to track in the system, but maybe not people that are actually in the system. This is for project use as far as utilization and just making sure that you've got a good handle on across the various projects in the portfolio non-users that are being tracked and are important for running projects. Some information about Microsoft Entra ID, some additional links down here for that. And then there's some system appearance customization down here. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a little while. Let's go ahead and start with business units. So the first thing we're going to do as a new user is we're going to set up our first business unit. So I'm going to go ahead and just add a business unit here. We'll call this demo business unit, if I can type. And just a description of it, just so people know what it is. This is, for demo purposes. Then we're going to go ahead and assign a portfolio manager to this. So this is the person who will own the overall set of projects within this business unit. They're the one that will define the portfolios within the business unit, the metrics in each portfolio. They'll be the one assigning the owners of the various projects in this portfolio, or in this business unit, I should say. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and just assign myself. But this can be anyone within your organization that you are wanting to make the portfolio manager. Typically, this would be someone like the PMO leader, or maybe a departmental manager or something like that. It just depends on your organization. But this is the person who will define all those things. So we'll go ahead and hit Create Business Unit. So we can see that this has been created here, and I'm the owner. So what we're going to do next is we're going to set up some departments and roles. As I said, this is mainly for analytics purposes, but it's meant to avoid having, let's see if I open up, say, R&D. So you can see some kind of basic roles here. So systems engineer, senior scientist. Many companies will have system engineer 1, 2, 3, 4, senior systems engineer. But really all these roll up to what we would just call a systems engineering role. So again, the purpose of that is just so you don't have the granularity of each type of system engineer within the analytics. You just have systems engineering. You know how many systems engineers you have available, or what the bandwidth is for that part of the R&D department, for example. We'll talk more about how to roll those up and enter ID in a different video, but for now we'll just show that you create these different roles within each department. So we've got a few departments already created. If you don't have any, you would just start by creating a department and call it, let's just call it production. And then we'll create the first role. We'll call it production supervisor. So we hit add, and we can see we've created the new department, and the first role in there is production supervisor. If you have to change anything in there, let's say you didn't want to have this be part of production, let's say you wanted to have this be part of operations, you could just change that, and now it's just part of operations. You see that the production department goes away, and production supervisor has now rolled up under operations. So it's very easy, very configurable, depending on how you guys have your systems set up and how your organization works. Very straightforward, though. So once we have that, and another note here, you actually can import from Excel. So let's say you've got numerous departments and roles that you want to just upload all at once, that you've kind of got pre-prepared. You can hit import from Excel, and you can select a file. Really just a couple columns, just the department name, role, and you'll be able to upload that and create your whole structure very, very quickly. As far as users go, again, you can see that we've got a few users in the system just set up for fun. So probably some of you nerds out there will recognize some of these names. I'm a big Mass Effect fan. So what we'll do here, though, is just to create a user. So we'll go ahead and hit Add User. And you can see right away that you can either do a system user or a planning resource. The planning resource down here as well will allow you to do that just for planning resources, but we're going to go ahead and create a system user. So we'll just call this test user, and we'll just give them a basic password, and this will be our test user. Now we can go ahead and select their system role. So this is different from their departmental role. So the system is all based on role-based permissions. So each permission level has different things that they can do, different things they can see. Right now I'm just going to set up a team member. So this is kind of the more basic user that is just going to see, we'll call it the minimal amount within the system. But is going to be one of our users in the system. You can also set up who their supervisor is. This helps with just reporting. There's some other functionality in the system that you can use the My Team page and see your team members and see what they're up to. But we'll go ahead and just assign this person to me as under me. Under the departments, we will put them under operations. We'll use the new role that we just created, that production supervisor. And you can then give them a cost rate and a price rate. The price rate is mainly just for informational purposes, but the cost rate is really what's going to drive our budgeting later. So we'll just put a cost rate for this person of $50 an hour. And now we can assign them to which business units they're going to be part of. So since we just created this new demo business unit, we're going to go ahead and just assign that as their primary business unit. You can assign them to others, and you can always change the primary. This doesn't necessarily change a whole lot about what the user sees, but it does just allow the portfolio manager and the system admin to understand kind of where the priority for this person really lies. But for the moment, we're just going to set them to our business, our demo business unit here. And you can see you can assign them a license type right off the bat, whether that's a standard license or a premium license or none. If you don't really want them to be able to log in, then you can assign them no license at all. But we're going to go ahead and just assign them a standard license and click Add User. And you can see we get our toast with our user added with standard license. And then if we go under operations, we can see our test user is there right there. And we can see, and we can right off the fly, we can modify their license type if we need to. If we need to edit anything, we can just hit that edit button. We can delete users if we need to, and you can even reset user passwords in this this section here. And it's very straightforward. If you do that, it'll just send them an email, give them a temporary password, and that's really all you have to do as a system admin. They can take care of the rest of themselves. So that's creating a user, fairly straightforward. Planning resources, as I said, this is really just for like I said, vendors or contractors, internal non-users. You can even set up equipment as a planning resource. Let's say you want to be able to track utilization of an injection molding machine. You could set up an injection mold. You could set up their availability and the hours per week. Maybe they're already doing something else and you just want to have them available. You just want to show development work, what their availability is. So you can set that up in here as well. There's lots of flexibility, lots of options for this kind of thing. So that's setting up a basic user and planning resources. The last thing I'm just going to cover in this video is the system appearance. So this is really just for your company to use their own logos and their own watermark and branding colors. So whatever you want to make the system look like, if you want to make it look like it's yours and get that look and feel to match some of your other tools and systems that you've been able to implement at your company, that's what this is for. So you can see I've got the Providence watermark here and logo, and that'll appear both here at the top left as well as in the background of the page. So just feel free to play around, have some fun with this. You can always just hit this Reset to Defaults button, and that will set everything back to normal. So don't think that you've set anything permanently and you're going to break anything, but just something fun for you admins to set up for your company if that's something that is important to the folks in your business and your executives, that you make this kind of look like your own. Well, that's all for this initial video. Thanks for watching this, and hope that it's been helpful for you. You'll see some links to some other videos as well in the description of this page, as well as on the README page, and as well as on the Providence PPM website. Thanks so much for watching.